Journey to the West in Vernacular Chapter 3. The Monkey King makes trouble in the Heavenly Palace. The Underworld King of Hell and the Dragon King came to the Jade Emperor one after another to accuse Sun Wukong of causing trouble in the Dragon Palace and the Underworld. The Jade Emperor was about to send heavenly soldiers and generals to the human world to subdue Sun Wukong. At this time, Tathagata came out and gave the Jade Emperor an idea. He said that it would be better to give him an official position and trap him in the sky. The Jade Emperor agreed and ordered Wen Kexing to write an edict, asking Tathagata to invite Wukong to heaven. Tathagata came to Huaguo Mountain as ordered and read out the imperial edict. Sun Wukong was very happy after hearing this, so he ordered the monkeys to look after the house, and he followed Tathagata on the clouds to the Linxio Palace. Tathagata saluted the Jade Emperor and said, "Wukong is here." The Jade Emperor asked, "Who is Wukong?" After hearing this, Wukong neither saluted nor knelt down, but casually agreed, "I am." Others, the gods, were very angry when they saw that Wukong was not polite. The Jade Emperor had nothing to do with Wukong, so he listened to Wu Kexingjian's suggestion and asked Wukong to show the Jade Emperor's horse. This official position is the smallest in the sky. It took half a month for Wukong to know about it. In a fit of rage, he took out his golden cudgel, fought his way out of Nanshanmen, returned to Huaguo Mountain, and proclaimed himself the great sage equaling heaven. Another big flag was made and placed on the Flower and Fruit Mountain. When the Jade Emperor heard that Sun Wukong had returned to Huaguo Mountain, he immediately ordered King Li Tianwang and the third Prince Najia to lead troops to capture Wukong. Unexpectedly, within a few rounds of fighting between the vanguard officer Giant Spirit God and Wukong, the Xuanhua axe broke into 2 pieces. Najia was so angry that his hair stood up. He shouted, transformed into 3 heads and 6 arms, and fought Wukong with 6 weapons. Wukong did not show weakness. He transformed into a man with 3 heads and 6 arms. He held 3 golden hoops and fought with Najia for a long time, but there was still no winner. Wukong secretly plucked out a piece of hair and turned into himself, fighting Najia. However, his real body went around behind Najia, raised the stick and started beating him. Najia couldn't dodge and was hit in his left arm. He was so painful that he didn't even bother to fight back, so he turned around and ran away. The Jade Emperor was very angry after hearing this, and planned to send more soldiers to fight Sun Wukong again. At this time, Tathagata came up with another idea and said, "It is better to make Sun Wukong a famous but powerful Monkey King. Don't let him take care of anything, just keep him in the sky, so as not to send people to fight and hurt the soldiers." General. The Jade Emperor thought it was reasonable, so he sent Tathagata to make peace. After Wukong heard about it, he was very happy and came to the Heavenly Palace with Tathagata again. The Jade Emperor immediately had someone build a Kishan Palace for Sun Wukong on the right side of the Panawan. After all, Sun Wukong is just a monkey. He only cares about his good reputation, and does not care about whether he has real power. He treats the gods as brothers all day long, eats, drinks and has fun in the house. He travels east today and west tomorrow. He is free. As time passed, the Jade Emperor was afraid that Wu would cause trouble if he had nothing to do, so he asked him to take care of Pandawan. There are 1,200 peach trees in the front, middle and back of the peach orchard. The tree in the front has fruit that matures in 3,000 years. If you eat it, you can become an immortal. The tree in the middle has fruit that has matured in 6,000 years. If you eat it, you can live forever. The tree in the back has fruit that has matured in 9,000 years. If you eat it, you can shine with the sun and the moon, and live as long as heaven and earth. One day, when he saw that most of the peaches in the garden were ripe, he wanted to taste them fresh. So he ran into the garden secretly, took off his clothes, climbed up a big tree, picked out big ripe peaches and ate them to his fill. From then on, he managed to eat a peach secretly every 2 or 3 days. The annual peach fair was here. One day, 7 fairies went to the garden to pick peaches on the orders of the Queen Mother. It happened that at this time, Sun Wukong had eaten his fill of peaches and felt a little sleepy, so he turned into a 2-inch long little man and found a cool place to fall asleep on the top of a big tree. Seeing that there were not many ripe peaches in the garden, the 7 fairies searched everywhere for a long time. Finally, they found a ripe peach on the top of a big tree and pulled the top off. Unexpectedly, Wukong happened to be sleeping in this tree. He was awakened and changed back to his original appearance. He took out his golden hoop and shouted, "Who dares to steal the peach?" The 7 fairies were so frightened that they knelt down and explained the reason for coming here. Wukong asked Pantao who he would invite. When he knew that he was not there, he was very angry. He used the immobilization method to immobilize the 7 fairies, and then rode the clouds to Yaoqi. At this time, the immortals who came to the banquet had not arrived yet, and only the servants were setting up the banquet. So Wukong plucked out a hair, turned into a sleepy bug, and put it on the servant's face. These people immediately fell asleep. He jumped on the table, picked up the wine, and drank happily. After he had eaten and drank enough, he walked out of Yaoqi and walked to Taisheng Laojian's Tashita Palace in a daze. It happened that no one was in the palace, so he poured out all the golden elixirs in the 5 gourds and ate them. He thought that if he got into a big trouble, he might not be able to save his life. So he returned to Yaoqi, stole a few cans of good wine, and went back to Huaguo Mountain. When the Jade Emperor heard the report, he lost his temper and ordered King Li Tian and Prince Najia to lead 100,000 heavenly soldiers and generals, and lay down 18 levels of heaven and earth nets to capture Wukong. But the heavenly soldiers and generals were no match for Wukong, and they were defeated one by one. So Guanyin Bodhisattva suggested that Erlang God, the Zhansheng from Guanjianku, go to Huaguo Mountain to capture Sun Wukong. Erlang Shen was ordered to lead the 6 Meishan brothers and select some elite soldiers to kill Huaguo Mountain. He asked Li Tianwang to stand in the air holding the demon mirror and shine it on Wukong, and then he went to the water curtain cave to challenge. Wukong came out of the cave to fight, and the fight with Erlang Shen was inseparable. Seeing that Wukong couldn't take care of them at this time, the 6 Meishan brothers took the opportunity to rush into the water curtain cave. When Wukong saw that his nest was destroyed, he panicked and turned into a sparrow and wanted to run away. Erlang Shen turned into an eagle catching sparrows, fluttered his wings and went to peck the sparrows. Wukong hurriedly turned into a big falcon and rushed towards the sparrow. Looking toward the sky, Erlang Shen hurriedly turned into a big crane and jumped into the clouds. Wukong flew into the water with a whoosh and turned into a fish. When Erlang Shen saw Wukong in the demon mirror, he turned into an osprey and waited on the water. When Wukong saw it, he hurriedly transformed into a water snake and scurried to the shore. Then he turned into a bustard and stood on the reeds. Seeing that he had become too lowly, Erlang Shen ignored him, changed back to his original appearance, took out his slingshot, and hit Wukong at the bustard, making Wukong unable to stand. Wukong took the opportunity to roll down the hillside and turned into an earth temple. Erlang Shen chased after him. When he saw a flagpole standing behind the temple, he knew that it was Wukong. He picked up the weapon and smashed towards the door. Seeing that Wukong had been seen, he jumped up, changed back to his original form and ran away. Erlang Shen chased after him on a cloud. The two of them walked and fought, and then came to Huaguo Mountain. The heavenly soldiers and gods from all walks of life swarmed up and surrounded Wukong. Taisheng Laojian, who was watching the battle at Nanshanmen, took the opportunity to throw the gold steel ball towards Wukong. Wukong was hit on the head and fell down. Erlang Shen's barking dog ran up and bit Wukong. The other gods rushed to hold Wukong down and tied him back with iron chains through his pipa bones. Sun Wukong was tied to the demon-slaying platform, but no matter whether he chopped it with a knife or an axe, or used thunder and fire, he could not hurt a hair. Taisheng Laojian asked the Jade Emperor to smelt Wukong in the Bagua furnace, and the Jade Emperor played it accurately. So Wukong was taken to Tashita Palace. The gods pushed him into the Bagua furnace, and the boy who lit the fire fanned the fire vigorously. Wukong jumped back and forth in the furnace, and accidentally jumped to the position of Zun Palace. There was only smoke, but no fire. It was very smoky, so he bent down and squatted inside. 49 days passed, and Taisheng Laojian ordered the furnace door to be opened. Wukong suddenly heard a noise on the top of the furnace, looked up and saw a light, jumped out of the alchemy furnace with a strong jump, kicked the furnace over, turned around and ran away. Not only was Sun Wukong not melted, but he also developed a pair of blazing eyes. He took out the golden cudgel from his ear and waved it in the wind until it became as thick as the mouth of a bull. Wukong picked up the wish-fulfilling stick and pointed east and west until he hit the Linxio Palace. He shouted loudly, "Emperors take turns. Old man, Jade Emperor, please move out quickly and give me the Heavenly Palace. Otherwise, I will give you some. Look, awesome." Fortunately, 36 Thunder Generals and 28 Constellations came to protect him, and the Jade Emperor was able to escape. The Jade Emperor immediately sent people to the west to invite Tathagata Buddha. Upon hearing this, Tathagata took to Venerables, Anuo and Jai to the outside of Lingxiu Hall. He ordered the fighting to stop and called Wukong out to see what he was capable of. Wukong looked at Tathagata angrily, not taking Tathagata into his eyes at all. Tathagata Buddha stretched out his palm and said, "If you have the ability to somersault out of my palm, I will advise the Jade Emperor to go to the west and give up your seat to you." When Wukong heard that, he didn't know it was a trick. He felt quite happy. So he put the golden cudgel in your ear, jump lightly, stand in the hand of Tathagata Buddha, and shout, "I'm going." A somersault, without a trace. Wukong was driving forward like flying clouds, and suddenly he saw 5 flesh-red pillars in front of him. He thought that this must be the edge of the sky, and the pillars must be used to support the sky, so he stopped. He was afraid that he would go back and see Tathagata without any credentials, so he plucked out a piece of hair, turned it into a pen, and wrote, "The Monkey King is here to visit" on a pillar in the middle. After finishing writing, he collected his hair, ran to the first pillar and peed some monkey urine, then rode the somersault cloud, returned to the palm of Tathagata Buddha and said, "If you are true to your word, please quickly ask the Jade Emperor to give up your seat." Tathagata Buddha said that Sun Wukong did not leave his palm at all. Wukong refused to accept it and asked Tathagata to see the evidence he left in the sky. The Buddha refused to leave, so he asked Wukong to look at the middle finger of his right hand and smell the base of his thumb. Wukong opened his fiery eyes and saw the 8 characters written by Buddha on the middle finger of his right hand, and there was still some smell of monkey urine in his thumb. Wukong said in surprise, "I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. I wrote the words on the pillar supporting the sky, but why is it in your hand? Let me go and see it." Wukong turned around and wanted to run away. Tathagata Buddha had quick eyes and quick hands. He pounced with his backhand and pushed Wukong out of the West Heaven Gate. He also turned the 5 fingers of his hand into 5 connected mountains of gold, wood, water, fire, and earth. He named this connected mountain 5 elements. Mountain, firmly pressing Wukong under the mountain. All the gods in the sky, Anuo and Ge, put their palms together and said hello. When the Jade Emperor saw that Tathagata Buddha had suppressed Sun Wukong, he was very happy and immediately sent an order to set up an Andean conference to thank the Buddha. After a while, all the gods and goddesses were invited. The Jade Emperor ordered the Taixuan Palace and Dongyang Jade Pavilion to be open, and invited the Tathagata Buddha to sit on the 7 treasures spiritual platform. The gods and goddesses from all walks of life sent congratulatory gifts one after another. Ge accepted the gifts one by one. While the gods were drinking and listening to songs, the inspector came back and reported that monster monkey stuck its head out. When the Buddha heard this, he took out a post from his sleeve which read, "Well, what?" Ba asked Anuo and Ge to take it and stick it on a square stone on the top of the 5 Elements mountain. The seams in the mountain immediately closed, and Sun Wukong could no longer come out. When the Tathagata Buddha returned to the west, he passed by the 5 Elements mountain. Out of compassion, he called the mountain god and asked him and the 5 directions to live on this mountain. He imprisoned Wukong and said to them, "If he is hungry, give him eat some iron balls, and give him the dissolved copper water to drink when he is thirsty. After 500 years, when his sentence is over, someone will naturally come to save him." Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.